Hi, this is Sarah.
And this is Rachel.
And this is the Rippah Diaries, a podcast where we rip apart, episode by episode, the Vampire Diaries. Warning, this is a rewatch podcast, so there are definitely spoilers ahead.
This week, we're talking about Season 1, Episode 17, Let the Right One In. In this episode, we mostly deal with the Stefan kidnap and all of the things that are involved in trying to get him free. We see a lot of firsts. We see Elena, Alaric, and Damon team up for the first time to save Stefan. We also see a lot of new weapons, vervain-soaked rope, things like that. And in addition to that, Caroline finds Vicki's body at the end of the episode.
Yeah,
this is a tough one. Yeah,
this is a big episode. Also unique, this is a storm episode.
Yeah.
I actually can't even think of another storm episode we get. I can think of another rain scene, which I will talk about later.
Of course.
Storm episode, I think this might be the only one.
I think so, yeah.
It's unique in that aspect. And I love storm vibes.
I know, I do too.
Throughout the whole episode, it's thunder, lightning, rain.
Yes.
I love it. I love the atmosphere of a rainy, dreary sort of. It sets almost a creepy tone, but not exactly creepy. Just the way that rainstorms feel in real life. There's a sense of comfort, but also being unsettled.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. There's definitely an unsettled tone, which works really well with especially the Caroline plotline.
Perfectly, yeah.
And also, I don't know, there's just something about pulling off a heist, a heist in the rain and in the storm. It's great.
It really highlights, it's a good episode, well written, well the plot is great, well paced, but definitely setting it during a storm is it adds pressure. If nothing else, it adds sort of pressure, it adds some intensity. I really like it. And you know who else loves storms? Anna.
Yes.
We start off the episode, Anna is visiting Jeremy. We left off the last one. He said he wanted to be a vampire, so at the start she's just kind of saying basically what it is to be a vampire and giving him a little bit of a teaser into it because he knows obviously nothing.
Yeah, clearly.
And she says she likes storms, which he's oh, do all vampires like storms? He's clearly clueless.
Yeah, he has no idea. He's only been figuring things out from his little chat forum. Yeah,
yes.
he's clueless.
Then we've got Frederick and Pearl, and they're talking about the founding families. And Frederick clearly holds a lot of resentment towards the founding families. He literally says, we should kill all of them. Yeah,
which also, this goes back to what we were saying in the last episode. Pearl explicitly says, we're not here for revenge. We don't want revenge, which is really interesting. I get she doesn't want to, kill everyone. But she does want everything back and to get things back to the way they were. So I'm I feel that is kind of a form of revenge, but in a different way, I guess.
I think it's what we talked about last episode where, it's not, she doesn't want revenge, but she does want some sort of, redemption. Yeah. Because she does say, these people aren't our enemies, they didn't do anything wrong. So she's acknowledging that, there's not anything that needs to be done to these people, but she still wants what's hers given back.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting, place to be striking, but you can't blame her for any of that. But Frederick, of course, during this conversation is literally carving a steak. I don't know how she didn't call that out and be clearly you're not listening.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, then we've got Damon who wants to go off and attack the tomb vampires because Damon. I don't know who Damon is.
Freudian slip.
A little bit. Damon and Stefan and Elena are sort of catching up about the tomb vampire situation because Elena and Stefan just found out that they're all out. And he says he wants to just go attack all of them, but he has this deal with Pearl to get Catherine, so he doesn't want to jeopardize that, which I got the sense in the last episode he didn't take the deal, but this he's obviously saying he did.
Yeah, I guess he's just, if Pearl's offering it and he has no choice but to go along with it, I guess he's gonna get Catherine out of it. If he can,
might as
why not? Yeah.
If I were him, even if I didn't want to get back with her, I didn't trust her or anything, I would still want answers.
Yeah, I would be what the fuck?
Who does that? Who does that?
Yeah. So I would also probably take her up on it, even just to ask. Why?
Literally, why? The epitome of Catherine. Why?
Yeah.
Then we've got Anna and Jeremy. There's a lot going on throughout the episode with Anna and Jeremy, and they kind of start off after that initial scene in his house. Then they go to the grill, which I was why did they have to meet up at the grill in the pouring rain? But whatever. Yeah, everyone in Mystic Falls is at the pouring rain. Have you ever gone somewhere when it's pouring rain?
Absolutely
no one's
not.
there.
No.
So I don't know why everybody still has to be at the grill. and they're doing sort of like more vampire lessons. And one thing that I found really interesting there was that Anna mentions that if you were a vampire, you like couldn't keep it secret from your family, because I think he mentions like, oh, does your mom know you're a vampire? And she's like, the fact you asked that shows you're like not ready. And I thought that was interesting because we haven't really gotten to see that like a ton. Like, I mean, obviously Caroline is turned and her mom does find out eventually, but it does take like quite a bit of time.
It does take a while. It's also interesting because Matt never figured out Vicki was a vampire or anything. So
that's true. She's only a vampire for like
a day.
But still.
For like a minute.
But still. And he definitely knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
To be fair.
That's true. He was probably going to figure it out on day 2, but...
Also, Jenna never like notices that Elena and Jeremy are like tied in. Obviously they're not actually vampires, but she never even realizes that they're like tied into all this stuff.
Or that Stefan or Damon
and
they're over all the time.
So I don't know, I thought that was an interesting line where I was like, in a sense I agree with you, but in another sense, I don't know, you can keep it secret for a while. I don't know, I guess I do think it would be really hard to keep the secret. Maybe she's thinking more like the bloodlust aspect, that sort of thing. Like, true.
If you were like especially as bad as Stefan,
yeah,
no way to keep that secret. But
that's true.
I don't know.
And the not aging thing, like you'd have to break apart with your parents eventually.
Yes, yeah,
because that's kind of the thing we never saw. It's like Caroline only got away with it for like I don't even know, like 6 months, maybe.
Not even actually. Yeah,
because
like
season 2 she
months.
changed, in season 3 your mom found out. So yeah, like probably 6 months, maybe close to a year, but not over. And I don't think she could have made it over because like
once you get like 20.
Yeah, well even then she turned when she was 17, so by 18, 19. First of all, she's probably not going to the doctor. So her mom's probably like, how have you not needed a checkup? You haven't like, you don't look any different. Anyway, there's just probably lots of things going on that you would get suspicious. But anyway, then Anna's also asking about Jeremy's bracelet.
Yep.
And like,
the
she
vervain
notices it's vervain. And I actually really liked that little moment because, you know, he tries to give it to her just because he's trying to make good with her. And she tells him to keep it and like that he should always wear it. Yeah. And she doesn't tell him that it's vervain.
Yeah. She's like, it looks good on you. Something like that. And I'm like,
I thought that was so sweet.
A point for Anna. Yeah. Like, that was actually nice and good of her.
Yeah, the tables kind of turned for them now. It's really interesting how, like, she was just a creepy stalker using him, and, you know, he just kind of wanted a friend and whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's flip-flop where, like, she kind of just wants a friend, and you can tell, actually, that she does like him. Like, that moment perfectly displays that. It's like, she wants him to be protected from being compelled, and, like, she's just spending time with him because she likes him.
Yeah.
Whereas we find out as this goes, he's doing the opposite.
Yeah, he's saying he likes her and that he wants to spend time with her, but
yeah,
we'll find out more at the end of the episode.
Yeah, literally there's a lot to talk about there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does say, you know, that he wants to be turned and he feels like something in his life is missing. Like when he wakes up, it just doesn't feel right and he feels empty.
Yeah.
And again, it's just got me thinking about the compulsion and
like, you know,
the cracks that it leaves.
Yeah, I didn't think about it as much during that conversation as I did, again, at the end of the episode. But yeah, I definitely think that thing that's missing is like clarity about what happened to Vicki.
Yeah.
And just all of the circumstances. Yeah, and the closure.
Definitely.
And that sort of thing. I also liked in this conversation that Anna says there are only a few good reasons to turn someone into a vampire, and she lists like revenge, boredom, and love, and like spending eternity with them. And I was like, we get to see how all of those reasons pan out.
No, I was thinking that was actually like a really accurate read from her, because I think that literally we could go through a list of everyone that's ever turned, and every single one fits like within the bill. Yeah, it's like maybe the only one is like Abby getting turned to stop the spell is like a really weird use case.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that kind of fits in the weird revenge territory where it's like it's for an ulterior motive.
Or even like the love. Like not that you want to spend eternity with someone, but you don't want them to die. Kill them.
But you have to kill them.
Yeah.
That's true. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting, accurate read from her. And it's like, yeah, there was like a perfect example from Vampire Diaries of every single one of those. Yeah. So fun little catch from Anna there. And obviously it's an interesting drop too of like, I feel like she's trying to insinuate to Jeremy, like, if you love me, I'll turn you.
Yeah, I know. There's definitely also that undertone. But he's just like, and she's like, no, none of these really apply yet. And he's like,
yeah.
It's a little weird.
He's scheming.
But he's trying to scheme.
Also scheming Mayor Lockwood, who shows up at the grill.
Oh my gosh.
And
yes.
Anna's like gonna leave because she doesn't want her mom to know, obviously, that she's with a Gilbert.
Yep.
And so she like goes to leave, but then Mayor Lockwood shows up, and it is the weirdest scene ever of him hitting on Pearl.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting because I don't really read it as hitting on until Tyler
calls him out on it
and is like, you know, you're staring at her ass and all of these, I don't know, all of these things. And I don't know.
I believe Tyler because when we see of Mayor Lockwood, and like obviously Tyler would know his dad, so like clearly that's what is going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, his dad does pull it off in such a way that you don't even necessarily think that that's what he's doing. Carol's kind of the same way, like with Damon, you know, where like they just have this like weird flirty energy with people.
Yeah, maybe they're swingers.
They honestly might be. They like 100% could be.
But with who? Like the people of Mystic Falls? I don't know.
I don't know. You never know.
But yeah, no.
It's a really weird scene and uncomfortable, and Tyler and Anna are just like standing there for it. And Anna obviously is like, you know, she knows what her mom's up to. Like she doesn't really care.
Yeah, she's kind of whatever.
But yeah, Tyler calls out his dad on it, and like later he talks about it. And I actually like this is probably one of, if not like very few episodes that I like really feel for Tyler.
Yeah.
Especially up to this point. Like he's been the worst.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you did get a little bit of, like, feeling for him in the episode where his dad is trying to get him to fight Jeremy.
Yeah, the career fair one.
But,
terrible.
But then he you know, he's terrible after that. So he turns it around. But yeah, no, this is definitely an episode where I'm sympathizing with Tyler a little bit.
Yeah, and Matt asks Tyler, like, oh, who's that, like, your dad is talking to? And he's like, I don't know, but it's not my mother.
Yeah. Oh, poor Tyler. There's something there. There's some deep-seated trauma.
Yeah, there definitely is a lot of unhealthy dynamics in the Lockwood family.
Oh, for sure.
And Pearl's taking advantage of that. She's getting information she needs. Yeah. And she's talking about the 1864 housing stuff that happened, like where all the land went. And she also finds out from Mayor Lockwood that the boy that Anna keeps looking at is Jeremy Gilbert.
It's Jeremy Gilbert.
Which, of course, pisses her off because, of course, Pearl ended up in the tomb because of a Gilbert. And so that's just, like, a huge line. Mm-hmm. So she confronts Anna and, you know, is, like, really mad at her for spending time with Jeremy. And it's like, once he finds out you're a vampire, he won't want anything to do with you. And she's like, he already knows.
He already knows.
Yeah, and they have a whole little showdown.
Which, there's a lot to say about this because, well, I think it's really interesting that Pearl is treating Anna this way.
Yes.
I mean, I guess she's technically still, like, probably 14, 15. Yeah. But she's been alive for 145 years without you, which, you know, Pearl probably forgets. She was absent for most of those years.
Yeah.
But also, I don't know. It's just such a, like, she already said to Frederick, Jeremy isn't directly responsible. Like, sure, it's not great. You'd still be pissed a little bit. But I don't know. She's just treating her so...
Yeah, she's living... It's the classic dynamic. Mom dynamic, though. Of, like, you know, projecting your, like, traumas and problems onto the daughter. Of, like, So, I don't know. It is a weird thing. The one thing I do really wonder is, like... when you get turned into a vampire, does your like body and your brain advance to full growth? Because like I think I don't know in Twilight actually, maybe that's only Renesmee. But anyway, really getting into the lore there.
Oh gosh!
But I wonder in Vampire Diaries how that works. Like if you come to like I don't know, like your brain is fully developed or not. You know, like because we've talked about this with Stefan, where like he's been 17 for 140 years, but like. He acts like an adult. Like, he definitely... Stefan, to me, which he could have been like that as a 17-year-old. Like, maybe he's just a very mature 17-year-old. Yeah. But to me, he feels like a person who has actually, like, lived and grown and learned things. Yeah. But, like, if he was frozen at 17, is it even possible for your brain to, like, develop in those certain ways? I'm sure, obviously, experience does. But, like... Yeah. I don't know. Like, he doesn't necessarily read to me as someone with, like, a 17-year-old's brain. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's also a weird age where it's, like, so unclear because you would think, you know, like, a 7-year-old is probably always going to be, like, a 7-year-old. Yeah. But, yeah, like, someone who's, like, 15. Yeah. I don't know.
For, like, 140 years. Does experience shape your brain?
I think so. Like, I think the experience has to cancel things out.
But... I don't know. It's just also, weird.
They all, like, I feel like everyone in the show pretty much gets turned before they're, like, 18.
Yeah. Like, Damon is one of the few that's, like...
In their 20s, yeah. He's supposed to be 25. He's, like, the only one. Yeah. Caroline, Elena.
Some of the originals, yeah.
Yeah. They all get turned when they're, like, 17, 18. So, I think experience has to, like, help your brain develop.
It definitely factors in. I don't know. I would be very curious about, like, how and what your brain and your body freezes when you become a vampire.
Yeah, definitely need to know more about the biology of being a vampire.
Add it to the list. If we ever get to talk to somebody from this show, that's what we're asking.
Julie
first
Pleck,
thing.
what were you thinking?
Was anyone's brains fully developed? But anyway, so Anna, this pisses Anna off, and this is where maybe she really does have a 14 or 15-year-old's brain, because she immediately tells Jeremy, okay, I'm changing you.
Yeah, I'll turn you.
Literally what a 14 or 15-year-old would do to their parent.
My mom said I can't. I'm going to do this.
It's
going to be, terrible. I haven't thought it through at all, but I'm doing it.
Exactly. So she's got some of that still in her.
Yes.
So that's the big development with Anna and Jeremy through that.
Yes. We also see at the grill Matt and Caroline talking.
Yeah.
They're not really talking about much. Matt is working, of course. Caroline is saying she's going out to the birthday party of her dad's boyfriend's daughter, I think it was.
Yeah, some extended something.
Yeah, some person that we never hear anything about ever again. And she's just going there.
Yeah, it's like some long trip, and it's the storm, so he says to call her or whatever.
Yeah,
so she goes off on her adventure.
Yeah.
Also going off on an adventure. Really, the main plot of this episode now is Stefan getting kidnapped.
Yes.
So we kick it off that Damon's just turning the clock at the Salvatore house.
Yeah,
which I thought was so
going
funny.
on.
I always have speculated and wondered, like, if they hire some sort of housekeeper. They definitely have like a maid or something. Like, they're not cleaning everything.
They're
but
compelling
I'm like,
someone.
An old house like that, all the antiques and stuff. Like, are they hiring someone to like regularly like maintain the house? I've always wondered. And this scene tells me that Damon's doing some of it.
He's doing at least a little bit. Yeah. I think they probably like compel a lot of it and get it done that way. But Damon is fixing the watch or the clock. Yeah.
It's just funny to see him like turning it, like tuning the thing. So I was like, weird thing to have him doing in the scene, but love it. And Stefan's going off to go hunt his squirrels.
Yep.
And he gets kidnapped while he's out in the rain.
Of course. Why wouldn't he get kidnapped?
An unfortunately funny scene.
It's really funny. He's just running through the woods. Also not at vamp speed, at normal speed.
He's kind of just like prancing in a weird way.
Yeah. He's just like trotting around the woods in the pouring rain.
Yeah.
Like, I think his hood is up. Yeah. It's a really funny
and then
scene,
all
unfortunately.
These vampires come out with their hoods up. It's so unserious. It's so like... Okay.
Yeah.
I understand he's getting kidnapped. The rain does something to add some seriousness to it, but just something about the way they filmed it. It's just like, okay.
Yeah. The rain adds seriousness to the kidnapping aspect.
Yeah.
But him running around looking for like a squirrel to feed on in the pouring rain.
That's
it's
what
like,
I'm picturing. I'm like, does he have to go find like a little bunny and pull it out of its like a rabbit hole so he can eat it? Like, what is the context here? Stefan hasn't figured out how to hook up with a butcher and just get like blood
animal
from like
blood?
a butcher. Just compel
I don't
somebody
know.
And be like, he's crazy.
I don't know. Maybe he's leaving them alive. I don't know.
That's true, I guess.
Feeding like
which
a little
is even
drop.
Weirder.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole feeding on animals would be so weird.
Yeah, but I guess he's not strong enough to compel someone either. Anyway, I don't know. We could literally wonder about Stefan's dietary restrictions forever, and it will
ages.
Still never make sense.
Yeah, no.
But anyway, so he gets kidnapped, which Damon picks up on like seemingly instantly.
Yeah.
Which I suppose he knows like there's reason to be worried with everything going on.
Yeah.
And so he keeps calling Elena. She's not answering his calls, so he shows up at her house.
Yeah.
And she hasn't heard of Stefan either.
Yeah. And he says to her that she's not picking up the calls. And Elena says, 6 missed calls, my phone is dead. And I love her for that one.
Yeah, she's so funny.
Yeah.
But bad time to be ignoring.
Yeah, they both instantly become nervous about what's happened to Stefan.
Because it's pretty clear. Like, Damon does say,
Damon
like,
knows.
I've got an idea where he is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a good one. And so then he immediately goes to the tomb vampire house. He goes straight there.
Yeah.
And I love the delivery of his line when he, like, knocks on the door. He just goes, "Where's my brother?"
Yeah.
And he says it's so, like, emotion, like, filled. Like, he sounds like a little kid. It's so cute. Damon is the epitome of, like, nobody can hurt my brother except for me. Like,
yes,
like you can't
definitely.
You can't say anything mean to my brother. Only I can do that.
Only I can do it. Yeah. No, like, I agree.
I'm here to torture Stefan's existence and ruin his life, but if you do that, I'll end you.
Yeah, exactly.
So funny. And yeah, basically Frederick, tells Damon that he blames them.
Yeah. I forgot that we do get that little line from Frederick, and then we do get clarity on why they blame him.
He acknowledges that it's Catherine's fault that this happened, but he's like, it's because Catherine was infatuated with the two of you that we got caught. Which is a jump of logic.
Maybe.
It's still Catherine's fault. But, like, clearly they just resent the Salvatores for, you know, what Catherine did. Yeah. And then they just want someone to blame. And Pearl's not letting them blame the founding families. So they'll just go after Stefan and Damon.
They'll go after them, yeah.
So that clearly gets things going. Damon runs back to the car where Elena is waiting.
Yes.
She gets out of the car with the umbrella, and they're standing in, like, the pouring rain talking about Stefan and talking about what's going on. Damon's soaking wet.
Yes.
This scene,
it's everything. It's everything.
It lives in my brain. I vividly remember, like, before this episode even came out, I remember, like, the press picture, like, the main picture they published for this episode was them in the rain. And, like, I remember being, like, my little 13-year-old brain was, like, combusting
exploding
over, like, what's going to happen? They're going to kiss in the rain? Such a jump of logic.
Yes.
But this scene did start, like, a Twitter petition. Is that what it's called? A Twitter petition? That
like a hashtag?
No, like a petition.
A real full petition. Oh,
that
God.
People were signing to, like, do a rain kiss for Damon and Elena. And, of course, that came true.
They finally did.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this scene
I never
was
knew
the
that.
reason that we got a rain kiss. Because
That's
this was
amazing.
such a popular, like, Damon and Elena scene, and fans wanted it so bad, and they finally gave it to us, and it's a great great
my
scene.
Gosh. Yeah. I wish this had been the kiss scene, but it's so good as it is.
It's
Elena
perfect.
She's so upset talking about Stefan, and Damon is talking her down.
Yeah.
And just the way he, like, puts his hands on her head in the pouring rain.
Yeah,
it's everything.
He's always touching her face, which I love, but like he does it in this moment to, like, really ground her and settle her because she's clearly getting, like, anxious, and it's just such a great
It's amazing.
scene.
But unfortunately, we cut away from that really tender, lovely scene to see Stefan is being tortured. And this is where we see all those weapons I was talking about. We see the vervain soaked rope being used to tie him up, and we see them pour vervain into his eye.
Oh yeah, very Clockwork
God.
Orange of them.
Yeah, very sick and twisted.
Yeah, and they're slicing his chest.
Yeah, they're like
open.
cutting him. Yeah, and Harper, love him. He tries to come in and stop them, and Frederick has none of that. They stake him and tie him down too. And
Frederick is, like, very clearly, like, anger mongering the rest of the tomb vampires.
Yes,
like,
everyone else is on Frederick's side except Harper.
Yeah, he's fully leading the crowd. Like, Pearl can lead the crowd because she's obviously the oldest and strongest. But Frederick is leading the crowd simply because he knows how to incite a riot, basically.
Yeah,
like, he's just, like, going after the, like, pain and revenge that everyone else wants, and is making sure that it happens. He doesn't have to do much to get them to follow along. Yeah, no. We saw him talk to them a little bit earlier, and they were already on board. Yeah. Yeah, and poor Harper is no match for the 20 others of them. So he's too sweet for any of this.
Yeah.
So Damon and Elena, they know that they're, outmatched. Elena can't do anything in this situation.
Yeah, no,
Damon,
she's doing nothing.
he can't even get into the house because he's not invited in. And they show him that Mrs. Higgins, like, is compelled to not invite him in. Yeah. And so Damon and Elena go to Alaric. Yes. Very exciting. First team up of Damon and Alaric. And they ask him for help, and they need a human to go in. And Damon says, like, oh, well, Elena's life is valuable. Yours is not so much. Which, of course, is a joke because Alaric has the ring. Like, he is fine and can't actually go in. And so Alaric, also, I love that Alaric is hanging out at the school when they have this scene. Yeah, why is Alaric always just at the school? They definitely just didn't want to give him, like, a house set. They didn't have any set for him yet. But still, it's like, they could have made him at the grill or someplace else. Exactly what I was thinking. He could have been at the grill grading papers. But no, they're like, he just hangs out at the school all weekend. He's just at the school, yeah. But anyway, so they find him there, and Damon finally convinces him to do it because he's not really that interested. But Damon says, the person leading them, Pearl, can help you find Isabel. Yes. Which is obviously a lie. But, I mean, it does follow the logic that Damon is hoping that Pearl can find Catherine, and Catherine could potentially find Isabel, which is true. Yeah. They didn't know this, of course. It is a leap of logic. This is definitely a leap. I don't even know if, like, Damon is brilliant, but I don't think even he's making this connection. I think it's just a lie. Yeah. He's just hoping. Even the hoping, I think, is... I don't think he's hoping. Well, he's hoping about Catherine. About Catherine, maybe. Yeah. And he's like, maybe we can get Isabel. Who cares? Yeah, who cares? Doesn't matter. But yeah, so they get Alaric involved. And so Alaric, Elena, and Damon are such a great trio. And so they start looking at Alaric's stash, which I thought this is what you were referring to with the weapons. Because this is the first time, first time we see all of like Alaric's crazy. We've seen his like plunger air pressure gun.
Yeah, his
before,
airsoft gun. Yeah.
But then we also see the vervain darts. Yeah. He's got just like all sorts of stakes and like he's got a whole vampire hunter's trove.
Yeah, he came here ready to kill Damon.
Yeah, and Elena is not going to be allowed into that house. She's only going to be allowed to drive the getaway car. Is what they resolve in this conversation. Yeah. And it's a very sweet moment. Again, this is why I love this episode. It's a really good Damon and Elena episode.
Yeah.
Because Damon admits that he doesn't want Elena going in the house because he can't protect her.
He can't protect her.
If she goes in the house, he will be distracted.
Yes.
And I think this is the first time that we get Alaric witnessing.
Oh my God.
A tender moment.
Alaric is present for every single one of these really intimate and tender moments between Elena and Damon. And really this is the first one.
This is the first one. Yeah. And it's a really important one because you do see Alaric. It kind of it cuts to him looking it cuts between to him the two looking. Of them being like, wait a second.
Yeah. Well, because Elena is obviously, upset. And Damon just goes, I know, I get it, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm like, we know you do. This is what we've been saying.
Yeah, he's trying
and
to
Alaric also now knows.
Yes.
We all know.
And it's interesting, too, that it is Alaric because obviously he came there to kill Damon. And now he's really seeing this, like, human side of Damon that Elena is the one bringing out. So it's really interesting. So they fully enact the plan. It's time to go get Stefan back. And Alaric goes up to the Tomb Vampire house. He just, like, runs up and knocks on the door and says that his like car is totaled. He needs to use the phone. Can he come in and use the phone? And he goes inside to go to the phone. And I find it very interesting that like they just do that. They're just like, oh, okay, like come on in. Take him to the phone. They don't just immediately attack him. He gets around the corner and then the guy tries to attack him and he stakes him. Yeah. But I found it funny that they like hesitated.
Yeah, I thought that was odd too. They could have easily, I mean, as soon as he knocked on the door, they could have killed him. It's not like he was getting away or anything like that. They're in the middle of
nowhere. They could have just jumped out and like bit his neck right there. Like
then
it
and there,
need to be, like, the whole thing.
It's over.
But I suppose that's the vampire thing of like wanting to be like a hunter. Like Stefan said that before.
That's true.
About,
you
like,
want the prey. Yeah, the predator aspect. Yeah.
So I think that that's what it is. But then, so he does that. He takes down that one vampire. Mrs. Gibbons is in the kitchen cooking or whatever. And he takes her over to the door where Damon is waiting and asks her to, like, bring him in. But, like, he can't because she's compelled.
Of course.
So Damon snaps her neck immediately and is in the house. Which Alaric is very mad about. But his part is done. He did his job. He's done.
Yeah, he gets Damon to go off and leave. Yeah.
So he goes back to the car. And we see Elena's, like, waiting in the car for, like, 2 seconds. And she already...
no time at all.
Literally.
She already sees there's one. Count them. One vervain-filled, like, like, plunger, like a needle. Yeah. And, she's like... We don't see her leave, but Alaric gets back to the car and sees she's gone.
Instantly.
See, this is a moment where I'm like... Elena is being very selfish. Like she's making this about her. Like she knows she's helping absolutely no one.
I have the same personality where like I don't feel comfortable sitting on the sidelines. I want to do something helpful. Like I need to be given something to do. However, you have to acknowledge at the end of the day that like Damon said, by going into the house, you're only causing it to be harder. You're only causing more problems. Yeah. Driving the getaway car is an important job. And like... I don't know. She could have come up with any other number of tasks that she could have done. But, like, instead she just takes it upon herself to go in, which is just, like, not the move.
No, it makes no sense. She could have even, like, gone out of the car and gone, like, a little bit closer to the house to help Stefan get back to the car or something like that. Like, totally. Where she feels like she has more of a role in it. But, she's just being
Be the supply girl. Make
self-important.
Sure you got towels when they're coming back from the rain. I don't know. Like,
doesn't matter.
Like, I know that it's hard being the one human in the situation, but, like, you're just making it harder for everybody else. And she would not have made it as far as she did if somehow all of the Tomb vampires weren't just blasting music constantly.
Yeah, which I guess same. Like, I feel like we're always listening to music, but still.
It's just funny.
Yeah, somehow it's loud enough that it's drowning things out.
The guy that she goes after literally has headphones on and can't hear
her.
He's
listening to music
which
full volume.
Think even if she had, like, she didn't even get to him. I don't think she would have even gotten that vervain into him.
Absolutely not.
Damon gets there just before the vampire gets to her, and he takes the vampire out. So I don't think Elena would have even gotten past that first one.
No, there's absolutely no way.
No. So Damon kind of saves that and is obviously pissed.
Yep.
But it ends up being a good thing because then they go to get Stefan, and there's vervain on the ropes, and Elena has to do that. Yep. Stefan wants to save Harper. They pull the they
unstake him and get him free.
Yeah. So then they get him out, and I think from this part on, it's like okay for a little bit. They get out of the house.
Yeah, they at least get him out.
Damon says he'll go back upstairs, cause like a distraction
for the rescue mission. Yeah.
And somehow like this is where they realize like, oh, we need to turn off the music. It's really weirdly quiet.
Yeah.
And all the other vampires are just missing. And then, Damon starts fighting with Frederick, and then 2 other vampires jump on him, and he's really outnumbered. And
and Alaric saves the day. He comes in with his huge airsoft gun for wooden stakes or whatever.
Yeah,
and shoots the one that's attacking Damon in the back. And Frederick, unfortunately, runs away.
Yeah.
Gets away. But
great pairing. This
is why they work so well as a duo.
Yeah, this is where you finally get to see them actually working really well like that. It's the greatest team up. It's literally my favorite. And so then Elena and Stefan are trying to run back to the car, and the keys have been stolen because Elena left them in the engine, which I understand the logic of leave the car or leave it in the engine
ready to go. Yeah,
so it's ready to go, but also girl that left the door open for Frederick to steal the keys, and then he punches through the window, yanks Stefan out, starts stabbing him with a stick. He's basically dying. And then she gets her chance to use her one little vervain dart on Frederick.
Yeah, she didn't even get to use it yet, but thank God she had that one thing.
Yeah, thank God.
Yep.
So she takes him out, and then we get lots of the classic Elena. Stefan! Over and over. Stefan.
He's passed out. He's fading in and out.
He's basically dying.
Yeah, I literally had a moment. I was like, is he starting to desiccate? He was not with it. He's out of it he's down.
Because again, he didn't get stabbed in the heart, but he was getting stabbed with a stick. And then also, he has been getting tortured for the last day. Yeah. So it's fair that he's in such a bad way. So then Elena, in this do or die situation, has to decide that she will give Stefan her blood, because Frederick is starting to stir already. Somehow the vervain did not knock him out for that long. He's starting to kind of I don't know, make some sort of sign
back
of life
a little bit. Yeah.
And so she has to decide to heal Stefan. And so she basically convinces him to feed on her in order to actually be able to recover quickly.
Yeah. And she pretty much puts her hand up to his mouth.
Yeah. Which he does decide to bite. I don't think she cut herself. I mean, she was already a little cut, but
yeah, she got a cut when she fell. They fell trying to get Stefan out, but
unfortunately, I don't really think he did have a choice.
No, definitely not.
Frederick was gonna kill her if Stefan didn't do that.
And Stefan probably.
And Stefan, he was already dying. Yeah. So yeah, he it was really both of them didn't have a choice. Elena couldn't protect them, and that was what they had to do. And so then also Alaric and Damon in the house are fighting off tomb vampires. They're about to get out of the house. They come out, and even more are coming in from the yard.
Yeah, we see 10 come toward the house from the yard, which, where were they? What were they doing?
Oh, out in the woods.
I don't know. Yeah.
And Alaric says he's only got one vervain dart left.
So they're screwed.
Yeah, they're screwed. So they go back in the house. And we come back to Elena and Stefan. And Stefan's laying on the ground as if he's still passed out. Elena's nowhere to be seen. Frederick gets up, and then Stefan jumps up. They tricked him. They obviously had time to come up with some sort of little plan. Which is
Elena definitely ran, got away.
Yeah, very smart of them. Although they could have just stabbed him while he was laying down, but whatever.
Sure. Didn't think about it that hard, I guess.
Yeah, it was a little more entertaining to do it that way.
Yeah.
So then she stabs him, she doesn't stab him. Stefan stabs him.
Yeah, Stefan stabs him.
And is losing it. He's really stabbing.
He gets that one stab and he goes, psycho.
Yeah, literally.
He's going all in.
Literally. And he Elena comes up to him he's dead, and Stefan turns around and snarls at Elena.
Snarl.
That's all I can think of. Growls.
Like, you're right. It is a snarl, but it's just weird to think about.
I've been reading a lot of ACOTAR, so snarls, growls.
Yeah, he's snarling, he's growling, he's doing the dog noises. He's also got that dog in him.
You have no idea. I wish you'd read ACOTAR.
Really I will.
But anyway, so yeah, this is the moment Elena, like, for the very first time sees.
Yeah. Is really seeing him and like his other side, like his vampire side
that like Stefan really tries desperately to hide, that Stefan can't control. This is the first time that she gets to see that.
Yeah, this is the first time he really loses control.
This is the first time as an audience we get to see it. It really is, because I mean, he's been sober for the last 90 years. Yeah. As far as we know, after the 20s, when he was bad all of the 20s, he gets cleaned up after that, and I presume that between like the 30s and now, he's sober that entire time. So, like, I don't know. I find it really interesting that Elena's blood is the first blood that he has in those, like, 90 years. And it is in order to save her. But, like, this puts him off the wagon. Yeah. For the first time in a long time. He's absolutely feral. Yeah. And it's, like, what we're going to be dealing with in the next few episodes. It's just such an interesting situation. I don't love the tomb vampires as, like, a plot generally speaking, but I love that it kicks off like this Stefan
Ripper. Yeah, because, I do too.
I mean, we are the Rippah Diaries after all.
Yes, like, of course.
Love like a Ripper plot, and I'm really excited that this does launch in the question now of Stefan's control and sanity and etc.
Yeah, I actually like the circumstances that start at least this Ripper binge, because I mean, like we were saying, he basically had no choice, and Elena had no choice. They were both going to die if Elena didn't feed him her blood. So
all the Ripper binge starts are interesting, because this one and then also the next one, he doesn't have any choice. Klaus forces
That's true. It feels a little bit less like there's no choice in a way, because this is like a live or die situation. Yes. Is actually sort of a live or die situation, just not for Stefan.
And this one is interesting too, because he kind of like doesn't fall that hard into it. He's back and fine by the finale. Like, he only struggles for the next few episodes, and then he like is pretty good. Yeah. So I don't know. There'll be a lot to talk about with the Stefan Ripper situation.
Yeah, we can leave it there for now.
Next couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, but excited that that's kicked us off there. So they've saved Stefan, but have they saved his soul? Of course not.
No. That's thrown out the window.
Yeah, the other really big situation we've got going on in this episode that'll take us to the end. Yep. So poor Caroline, all episode we've been going back to her. She's been in her car. She gets stuck in the mud at one point. She doesn't have service. She's just like in her car playing music. Yeah. She like talks to Matt for a minute. The last time we go back to her, it's like night, so she's clearly been there like all day. It's dark outside. So she finally gets out of her car with her phone. She's like going off in the woods searching for a signal. And because it's like wet and muddy, she starts slipping down the like ravine. And out comes a human hand.
Yes. Yeah, she's grabbing for things, and she grabs Vicky's arm.
Yeah, which she doesn't know. She doesn't know it's Vicky, but a dead body appears.
Yeah, doesn't matter
who it is. Which is just tragic.
Traumatizing.
Which, as the audience watching it, you don't know really
what
it is.
Yeah, you don't know who it is either.
I do vaguely remember the first time watching this, and like, I remember not knowing who it was, but I remember kind of trying to think about who it could be and being like, okay, like Vicki, Logan, like it was a short list of who it could be.
Yeah, it's Vicki
Clearly
or Logan,
it's going to be somebody.
Much. Yeah.
And it's like, well, Vicki is the one we've been waiting for them to find. Yeah. So that's kind of what you're expecting. And then, of course, they do come back at some point to Kelly Donovan is cooking dinner for Matt.
Yeah,
she makes
a mystery casserole.
Yeah, classic mom move. Yep. And they're having actually a really nice scene of Kelly. Like the last time we saw them, they were fighting. Matt had said like, "Step up, mom," and like I'm the kid, and you know, really saying that she needs to take responsibility. And in this scene, she says she's going to try to do that.
Yes. Yeah. She's acknowledging she has to do better, and she's going to try.
Yeah, and she might not be the best cook, but like she's trying. She's trying. Yeah. And it's a really nice moment for all of like 60 seconds. Yep. And then somebody knocks on the door. Matt goes and answers it. It's Caroline. And you know, he's just like, oh, like, what happened to you? You got lost. And then Liz Forbes
steps into frame.
Full sheriff outfit. Can I talk to your mom?
Talk to your mom, yeah.
And you know. As an audience member, you know. And then we get the official confirmation, and not a great way, which is that Mayor Lockwood gets the call. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Mayor Lockwood gets the call at the grill, and he says to Tyler, like, we got to go. Tyler's like, I'm eating my burger.
Yeah, why like, why do we have to run out? And of course, Mayor Lockwood is like, they found Vicki Donovan's body, like, screaming it.
Well, and he just says, they found Vicki Donovan. And Jeremy and Tyler are all like, oh, wow, where was she?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah, her body was buried off, whatever. Like, so blunt. Like, just so, like, oh, yeah, they found her body here and here. And Jeremy and Tyler are also both shocked, obviously.
Yeah, of course. The two people that this would be the hardest news to hear.
Yeah, outside of the family.
Outside of the family, of course. And also, why is he just saying it this loudly in the grill? Like, don't even say it at all. Just be like, Tyler, we gotta go. Like, come on.
If you didn't already know that Mayor Lockwood is a dick, then this scene really cements this episode, but this scene especially, where it's like, he's so insensitive. How does he not know that Tyler has some sort of relationship with Vicki?
He definitely does.
He must know that he at least knew her his whole life.
Yeah.
So that's the confirmation that we finally get that they've found the body. Meanwhile, Stefan and Elena have made it back to the boarding house, and they have a kind of stilted, awkward conversation about what happened. And
you can see Elena's really thinking about the things that have happened over the course of the night.
And she says, like, what we said about, seeing him act like that was just really shocking. She hadn't seen that side of him.
She had never seen that before.
And we talked about this in Unpleasantville, that, like, she's seen him, she killed that guy at the Decade Dance to protect her, and she's seen him be violent and aggressive, but it's always been in the name of protecting her, and he's always had himself under control.
Yeah,
and so this was the first time that she saw that he didn't. And so they're just sort of having an awkward conversation, but it's interesting in a way because, he's apologizing, and you can tell that they're, like, gonna be okay. It's just sort of like a weird night. But then, of course, they get interrupted because Elena gets the call.
Yes, she answers, and Jeremy is calling her to tell her that they found Vicki's body.
Yeah, and then cue the devastating ending.
Yes.
The tragic music, and we see everyone is at the Donovan's house.
Yeah, Liz,
Caroline,
Kelly.
Yeah, Caroline, Tyler, Jeremy, Liz, Kelly, Matt, and then Elena shows up.
Yep.
And I just have to say, as someone who's experienced some, like, intense family loss in a sort of similar scenario, I cannot imagine having a single person at my home.
Oh my God,
the day that we found out. Like, we were all, like, a disaster. Like, I cannot imagine being like, everyone in town, just come hang out.
Yeah, everyone come over. Yeah,
like, I totally understand being like, you want to be surrounded by people. And, like, we definitely had a lot of people around us, like, the days after. Yeah. But that first day, like, I don't know. I feel like you want to be alone. And that's basically what Matt says to Caroline.
That's what Matt says. Yeah, Caroline is obviously, Caroline generally, like, tries very hard to, in her relationship with Matt, but in general.
And in a good way. Like, she's trying to be very supportive.
She's trying to help. And, she asks, is there anything I can do? She brings him coffee. And, he's like, I just want to be alone. I just need to be left alone. And of course, he gets up to walk out, and Elena comes in at that moment.
Yeah.
And he immediately, like, starts to cry when he sees Elena. Yeah. And then they embrace. They have a hug.
Yeah.
And Caroline, of course, is onlooking. Like,
yeah, and obviously looks like hurt over it.
Yeah, which, you know what? It's kind of fair, but also...
I don't think it's fair at all. I think, like...
because she doesn't say anything. I think it's fine to have that look.
It's fine to have the look. It's fair to be, like, a little hurt, to be like... I wish that I could be that for him right now. But, like, you can't blame Matt for any of it. Because, like, grief is so confusing. Yeah. And really weird. And so, like, obviously, like, Elena didn't even stay that long. Because Elena and Jeremy go back, like, shortly after this. So, like, they just stopped in to, like, check in. And, like, for Matt, like, and I gotta say, Zach Rohrig, who plays Matt, like, this is a great, like, scene for him. Like, the emotions, the way they wash over his face the second that he sees Elena are just so perfect. And, like, it's just really interesting. It's like, you can't blame him for it. You can't blame Elena for it. And you can't really blame Caroline. Yeah. And I think she knows that. I do think Caroline kind of recognizes, like, she lets him have that moment.
I think so, too. Because also, to my point, it's not like I'm gonna start a fight over this kind of hurt. It's more like I wish I could be that person for you. And I do think that feeling is validated. But again, no one's feelings in this are not valid. Obviously. Everyone is kind of in the right in their own way.
And it's also too, like they've all known each other all of their lives. Like Elena and Caroline and Tyler and Jeremy, everyone else is also devastated about this. And that's really too what you see, that like Elena and Jeremy, when they go home, they're devastated. Elena sits down on the stairs, and even though she already knew that Vicki was dead, she still just looks so miserable, which I'm sure that like seeing everyone finding out about it and like seeing the consequences of like what happened that night.
And you being the only one who really knows, at least in that room, she's the only one who knows.
It opens up such a different level of like hurt and grief.
It would be awful.
And like, so you see Elena just for that second, and then you of course see Jeremy go up to his room, and he's throwing away his vampire research, he's ripping everything up. Anna calls out that Jeremy only wanted to be a vampire so that he could be with Vicki.
Which Anna's there. Of course, she comes over when he's back, and she realizes in that moment, he only wanted to turn for Vicki, which is, obviously. We all knew that was the reason, but this is Anna's first time finding out, and she's obviously upset, and
justifiably so.
Justifiably so, because again, she made that little insinuation about love earlier. And I do think she was kind of expecting it maybe to get to that point, like that point where you turn them because you're in love with them. But clearly that's not the case, and Jeremy tries to apologize, but she's gone. She's left. She's out the window.
It's just, again, just adds to this devastating moment that's been building up of just, clearly the compulsion can't fix everything.
No.
And clearly there was that piece missing. And for Jeremy, it is like the closure of Anna, or of Vicki.
For finding out what happened to Vicki.
It's just so devastating.
It really is.
On a lighter note, we see Alaric and Damon have the first proper drinking buddies scene, I would say.
I still don't know if this is the first proper one.
I think this counts really as their vibe.
Well, that's true. This is pretty much their vibe. That's a good point. Damon.
It's as good as you get, basically, with them. Because the only one before that, Alaric slid in next to him to, like, question him. They didn't know who they were. This time they know who they are, and Damon shows up to drink with Alaric.
Sure, tries to, but Damon pulls up. He's like, that was fun, and Alaric is having none of it. He's clearly not happy. He's not. I don't think he's even really saying anything or much.
No, he doesn't say anything.
And Damon is just like, well, that was good, we were pretty badass, all these things, and Alaric just punches him in the face and walks away. And Damon just goes, happens.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It
shows why they're so well matched.
That is really their vibe.
It's exactly their vibe. That's why I'm saying this is the first proper drinking buddies scene, because that's generally how it goes. Is like Damon is like Damon, and Alaric's
he's like, we were having fun. Alaric's like, no, we're not.
So they have that moment, and Damon goes home. Oh, and now we set up.
You start to see. Yes, you start to see. You see an empty blood bag here, an empty blood bag there, all leading in a little like trail, like on a treasure map, to Stefan cowered in the corner, like sucking down a squinched up blood bag.
Stefan is literally pounding down those blood bags like they're Capri Suns. Like he is sucking those suckers down like. It's crazy. And like the face he gives Damon, it's so funny.
Oh my god.
But it's serious, obviously.
It is.
And that's where it ends, because that's the setup for the next one, Under Control.
Yes.
That says it all.
Yes, he does not have it under control.
No.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But that's it for this episode.
Yeah,
in this episode we had a lot of deaths. These were really hard to count.
Who knows?
I don't think anyone really has a full number, because obviously some of the tomb vampires are still alive. But a lot of them died. Some of them might have just been vervained. But we know Damon killed at least Miss Gibbons, who owns the house. And we saw him kill, I would say, like, actually saw at least 2 or 3 other vampires. We saw Alaric kill at least 2 vampires himself. And the wiki, the Vampire Diaries fandom wiki, said that they killed like 11 at least between the 2 of them.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe we want to say like 7 for Damon, 4 for Alaric, something like that.
Yeah, we definitely see a few each, and there's definitely some more bodies around. So definitely around 11. And then, of course, Stefan kills Frederick.
Yes, yeah.
So then that's like the main kill there. But yeah, probably
that's the big one.
Around 11 tomb vampires and Mrs. Gibbons. That's the final tally. So this was our biggest in memoriam for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, this will be the biggest for a little while. Well,
till the finale.
Until the end.
The finale is probably the bigger one because that's gonna have tons of unnamed townspeople. But yes, so this one is a pretty big one.
Yeah.
Then we've got our out of pocket moments. So for me, I don't know if we have the same one here.
Yeah,
but for me, it's a certain person, and shocking that this family is getting another entry.
Now we are saying the same thing.
We are?
Yes.
Okay, good. Mayor Lockwood.
Yes, Mayor Lockwood through the whole episode, but I think it's especially out of pocket for him to be talking about them finding Vicki's body out loud. Yeah. Just announcing it to basically the whole grill. So out of pocket. Ridiculous.
Yeah, when I had written it down, I'd written like the flirting with Pearl stuff, but I think that's a much worse offense. I mean, it's just really him all episode. Any episode he's in, he's out of pocket. He's awful.
Yeah, it's him. So yeah, it's Mayor Lockwood.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is.
Yeah. As for best quote, there was a lot of good dialogue in this episode. I had a lot of little quotes that I really liked.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have like a definitive winner, but I really liked when Damon says, happens after Alaric punches him.
Yeah, it's funny.
And I also liked Elena had a quote. Let's see. She says, I've accepted the fact that you're a self-serving psychopath with no redeeming qualities.
I did like that one.
I really liked that. I was like,
funny.
Elena, she was on something today, and I liked it.
Yeah, at the start of this episode, she was pissed.
Yeah,
up until Stefan got kidnapped, then she had to deal with Damon. But
yeah, she was not having it until then, but... Yeah. I like those 2 lines, I think.
There were a lot of good lines. I had written down 4 different Damon one-liners.
Oh, gosh.
I don't need to say them all, but just a few of them. I just liked I have 2 liters of soccer mom in the fridge.
That was fun.
Trying to give Damon or Stefan some blood. Guess what? Everyone hates me.
Okay, I thought about that one, too.
Yeah, but you can't deny we're badass.
Yes.
Love that one to Alaric. And then if I had a good side, not a way to get on it.
Oh, I did like that too. He said to Pearl.
So he had a lot of good ones. Not one specifically sticks out to me. I think we could give it to Elena though. I do like that one. Yeah. It's rare that you get an Elena sassy moment.
Yeah, I do love a good Elena sassy moment. So we can go with that one. I like that one.
Go, Elena.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, a clear winner for me. Song of the episode.
I know we're going to disagree.
Oh, no.
I know we are.
Well, you know how I feel. I already said I knew definitively what my favorite song was. I feel very strongly about this, so I'm curious what your answer is.
Well, okay, so I'm willing to give it to the song I know you're going to say. So I guess mine is more of like the honorable mention. But I did really like the song that plays when Alaric is first starting this mission to save Stefan and he goes up to the vampire house. And it's the song Young Men Dead by the Black Angels. I just thought it was a good, like, we're going to do this, we're being badass, we're saving Stefan vibe.
Interesting.
So it is my honorable mention, but I did really like that song, and I wanted to give it a good call out.
I'm going to be honest, I don't remember it, but I'll listen to it after this.
I liked it. It stood out. I mean, I mostly just didn't want to pick the sad one that I knew was going to happen.
Oh, but I love this song. Like,
it's a good song.
I mean, there's so many sad songs throughout Vampire Diaries, but to me, like, this is definitely one of my top few songs. But interestingly enough, I think I associate this with a different show, and I can't place in my head what show that is, so if anybody else knows, let me know. Because I feel like I've heard it in other things. But it could be just honestly that, like, I've been listening to this song regularly since this episode came out.
Yeah.
And that's, of course, All You Wanted, Sounds Under Radio, which plays when they reveal that Vicki is dead.
I'm good giving it to...
I'm curious what your reservation is to it.
I just don't like picking all the sad songs all the time.
That's Vampire Diaries.
I guess, yeah. I just like some of the more upbeat songs. I love when they're having like a we're killing people.
I like
those
badass.
Too. I don't know,
but I didn't even remember that other one. Like there hasn't been a strong one of that for me.
Yeah, it's definitely not the strongest of that vibe. Yeah, I just generally like that vibe.
I generally like that vibe better.
But I agree.
But there hasn't been a strong one in a while for me. But this one is a strong sad one, so I'm like
it's a pretty strong sad one. So I'm good giving it to this one.
So we'll be adding All You Wanted to our Songs of the Episode playlist. We have a Spotify playlist where we always add the best song from every episode, so you can check that out linked in all of our various bios and descriptions. You can also find there our Instagram and our TikTok at the Rippah Diaries podcast, where we post lots of fun memes, clips from the show, various edits and such. So give that all a look.
Yes, and you can listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and you can watch the video version of the podcast on YouTube. And new episodes drop every Thursday, so next Thursday you can join us for episode 18, Under Control. The big one from this that I remember is like Stefan just dealing with his blood problem, and there's of course some event.
A founders party.
A founders party event, of course, there always is. And that's a big Stefan moment there. I won't talk about it yet, but...
And we've got a very big character gets introduced in the next one for the first time.
Yes.
So excited for that. Lots to look forward to. So thank you for joining and listening to this one. Hope you see you next time. Bye.
Bye.